Let's talk about the will. That force inside us that we use to get things done. But maybe we've had it all wrong. Today, we're going to look at it in a completely different light, through this idea of a will to live, dreaming as devotional participation. I mean, you know the drill, right? We're taught from day one that our will is basically a hammer. It's about willpower, it's for smashing through problems, forcing things to happen, and just gritting your teeth to get what you want. But just for a second, let's flip that entire idea on its head. What if will isn't a tool of force at all? What if it's something way more elemental? Something like a current, a giant river that's already flowing. And if that's true, well, that changes everything, doesn't it? Our job is no longer to hammer our way forward. It's to learn how to feel that current, how to listen to it, and then how to join it. It's a huge shift from trying to control everything to simply participating. Okay, so let's really get into this. To get what we're talking about, we have to zoom out from our own personal psychology. We're not talking about your willpower versus my willpower. We're talking about will, with a capital W, as a fundamental force of the universe itself. All right, so here's the core idea. This will isn't really ours. It's ontological. Now, that's a big word, I know, but all it really means is that it's part of the very fabric of existence. It's the universe's own constant driving impulse to become, to live, to just be. And this isn't some new age idea. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer was talking about this way back. He saw this raw, relentless, almost blind will as the energy that underpins everything. It comes before thought, before spirit. It's just this endless striving that makes reality happen. And what's so fascinating is how you see the same idea pop up in completely different traditions. The spiritual teacher Kirpal Singh talked about surrendering our own little personal will to a much larger divine one. See? It's the same fundamental move. Stop trying to force everything and start aligning with a current that's way bigger than your own ego. So, to make this a little more real, let's break it down. We can think of will as showing up in a few different ways, kind of like different flavors. It's a journey, really, from the ego's grip to something much deeper trying to emerge. So we all start with number one, right? The egoic will. That's the hammer. I will make this happen. It's pure control. But from there, we can soften into soulful will. I am willing to participate. Then there's this really raw one, existential will, which is that choice you make in your darkest hour. I lean toward the light. And finally, the quietest, most mysterious of all is the dreaming will. It's that little flicker when you think you have nothing left that whispers, something in me is still reaching. Okay, this all sounds great, but how? How do you actually align with this deeper river? Well, the trick is, it's not about trying harder. Not at all. It's about creating the conditions where you can finally hear that quiet yes inside you. The first step, according to the thinker Otto Scharmer, is what he calls open will. And this is absolutely key. It's the conscious choice to let go of who you think you are, to unclench your fist around your old plans and identities. It's about making yourself available for something totally new to come through. And that act of letting go, it isn't passive. It's actually a very active form of listening. It reminds me of what the philosopher Simone Weil was getting at with this idea of attention. That deep, patient, almost devotional kind of attention, that's the work. That's how we start to notice the currents we were always too busy to feel. And this isn't something you figure out in your head. It's something you feel. This brings us to what Eugene Gendlin called the felt sense. You know that feeling, right? That gut feeling. That sense of rightness you feel in your body before your brain can even explain why. That's it. This deeper will is a response to what you sense, not a decision you make on a spreadsheet. And when you start following that felt sense, you'll find it almost always points you toward meaning. And that's where Viktor Frankl's work is just so essential. As a Holocaust survivor, he saw firsthand that our will to live is completely tied to our sense of purpose, our why. Meaning isn't just a nice to have, it's the actual architecture of our will. Now, this why that Frankl talks about, it's not some cold, abstract concept. It's about connection. It's about care. And this perfectly sets up what the psychoanalyst Rollo May pointed out. Will and love, they need each other. They're two sides of the same coin. Will without any love or care, well, that just becomes tyranny. And love without any will to back it up, that's just a flimsy, sentimental feeling. Love is the soil where a healthy will can actually grow. So let's bring all these threads together.
What does this mean for our own agency, our own power in the world? Because this isn't about becoming passive. It's actually about discovering a much, much deeper source of strength.
So here's the new definition. Agency is no longer about having power over things, over people, over life. It's about our capacity for being with life. It's that felt sense of being in sync with what's trying to emerge. It's a quieter way of being, for sure, but it is so much more powerful. So in the end, will isn't the force we use to push our dreams out onto the world. It's the open space we create inside ourselves that allows the world's dreaming, that deep creative impulse of life itself, to move through us. We stop being the controller, and we become the conduit. And so the invitation that comes from all of this is actually very simple, very quiet. It starts with a basic choice, an orientation of your whole being. I choose to lean toward life. And when we make that lean, it calls for a kind of surrender, a willingness to be shaped and changed by that bigger current. I choose to let the dream become me. And then we come all the way back to those two simple words from the beginning. But now they mean something completely different. It's not the roar of a demanding ego. It's the quiet, solid, devotional yes of a soul that has finally joined the river of being. I will.